Hello, welcome to Stay True to You. It has been a minute and this is very exciting. I am recording in a very different style right now. I usually just record on the mic, but for the first time, I am doing video for this solo episode that will also be going on to YouTube, my YouTube channel. So, if you prefer watching the video form of this podcast episode, go on over to YouTube, look up Karishma Minocha, and you will see this very episode with video. And it's happening. It feels really cool because it's very different from the usual style of me recording a podcast episode. Usually, I just have me, myself, and I, and the mic. But this time I have a ring light set up, I have my webcam set up, and we're going to try something different this time, and I'm very excited. That being said, major apologies, you guys. I have been so MIA, and I'm not okay with that. I like consistently releasing an episode every week, but it's been a while. It's been almost 2 months since I've been able to connect with you in this space. And full transparency, I have been struggling. If you have heard in previous episodes, I have shared that I've been going through health challenges and navigating things. And that can really take up a lot of your life when you are trying to figure out how to navigate your health. And it can be a lot when you have multiple different symptoms. So that's where I have been. I have been navigating my health and trying to just come to a place of clarity, peace, and direction with what steps I need to take so that I don't experience symptoms like intense fatigue, depression, PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. I'm like coming out and talking about it more because I'm realizing how little people know about PMDD. And pretty much it's the intensified version of PMS, and it happens every single month. So to get knocked out for 2 or 3 weeks of every month and then bouncing back can be very exhausting on a person. And that's what I've been going through behind the scenes. So I'm very hopeful. I'm meeting up with doctors and I'm figuring out my next steps. So, yeah, fingers crossed that we are able to get into a higher quality of life and be able to figure this thing out. So, that being said, I don't have any notes or bullet points prepared for this episode this week. I want to talk from the heart. I want to just share with you the importance of slowing down. And the reason why is because over a week ago, I announced on my Instagram page that I am taking a break, that I am in a different season of life and I would like to focus on my health because what I'm realizing and beginning to believe is that to be successful is to be healthy. And that's the kind of success that I want to go after. And, when I thought about it that way, I was like, wow, health is truly everything. And like, you know how they say health is wealth? It's so true because I mean, even if you are rich and you're earning good money, if you don't have health on your side, you can't really enjoy that money. So what's the point? You know? So having your health on your side is like the number one thing for me at least. And that's what I'm trying to really hone in on so that I can experience vitality. And I wrote in the caption that sometimes slowing down is key. And that's what I want to focus on, slowing down. And I kid you not, over the weekend, I was just like looking through podcast episodes that I could listen to, and I bumped into Boss Babe. And they are an entrepreneurship podcast, which is totally up my alley. So I tuned into their podcast, and the one that caught my eye was the title that the happiest people are slowing down, not speeding up. And that really spoke to me because I was like, wow, that's so true. Like the happiest people are slowing down, not speeding up. And how often do you hear the word burnout? Like there's so much conversation around the topic of burnout nowadays because everybody is experiencing it to some degree if you're not slowing down. You know, we live in a very fast world and it can be very exhausting to be able to check in with yourself and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to pause. I'm going to take things slower and not rush through life. So I have found that I am really benefiting from the experience of slowing down. Granted, it's only been over a week. And for me, that looks like not being on social media apps like Instagram and TikTok. I'm taking a break from, consuming too much social media, and I am not really tapping into my loved ones' lives as much right now. Like that's like one of the main forms of communication when you are on social media and consuming each other's stories and Instagram posts and all that jazz. And it can be nice to connect with your loved ones, but it can also feel really overwhelming when you're going through some tough challenges. And that's what I was catching myself in, that I was beginning to compare my life to other people's lives. And it was like my behind the scenes was being compared to their highlight reels. And that's not realistic. You can't really do that to yourself because you don't really know what's going on in their behind the scenes, right? So for me, slowing down means to just cancel the noise, shut out the noise, and just to go inward more. And it's been really challenging at first. I would be very tempted. My thumb would right away want to go towards the Instagram icon on my phone and open Instagram right away or TikTok right away. But I realized that the more I would practice self control and willpower, the better the results and the better the experience, because I wouldn't find myself scrolling mindlessly for God knows how long. Instead, I would be more mindful and present with my time, which is exactly how I want to be, designing my life. I feel like I am on a journey of reinventing myself right now. And the reason why I even made the announcement on Instagram to, take a break and not be posting on social media right now, which is a really big decision for someone that is running an online business and does a lot of content creation to engage with their audience. I felt very scared to make that decision and I felt very apprehensive at first. But I realized that my mental health was getting affected more and more along with my physical health, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So, taking that step back from social media has been really vital to slowing down, and I highly recommend it for you if you need to take a step back from all the noise that you're consuming externally and need to go inward and just check in with yourself, because social media isn't going anywhere. Your friends will be posting when you go back to it, and you can engage with them at that time. But really going against the grain and saying, you know what, I'm going to go off of social media and I'm going to just take a break from it and do a detox, that can be so good for you and your well-being. So yeah, it's felt really good. And along with that, I have been exploring how I want to design my life. What do I want my days to look like on a regular basis so that I look forward to it and I experience more fulfillment, regardless of the fact that I'm having health challenges behind the scenes. And full transparency, you guys, the fact that I am sitting here with my hair styled like I did my hair with a really fancy heating brush that I bought but never used. I styled my hair this morning, took me just 15 minutes, and I did my makeup. I even, you know, I just got ready. Like that's what I did. I didn't delay showering or getting out of my pajamas because I work from home. I actually got myself up and ready, and I feel so good. I feel like a whole human being ready to face the world because I put in effort into showering, doing my skincare, styling my hair, picking out a nice outfit, doing my makeup, and I feel more revitalized. And for a very long time, I would take the benefit of working from home and just enjoy working in my pajamas. And there's no shame in that. But quite frankly, I am feeling a shift in my energy when it comes to wearing pajamas and working in that state with not having my hair done, my skincare, showering, makeup, none of that, versus actually doing it and feeling a boost in my energy. Sometimes the moms can be right. And I have to say, my mom was right when she said that, Karishma, do yourself a favor and dress up and become a person as if you're going into an office to work. And the way I have presented myself to my days or to my day today has been, life changing. It has been so good versus the days that I don't do that for myself. And something else I want to share with you is that when I tapped into the Boss Babe podcast, she also offered a mini tutorial to look into what systems you can create as an entrepreneur. And when I first heard about that, I was like, wow, I'm going to learn a lot about how to have a thriving online life coaching business if I learn more systems that I can have for my business. I kid you not, I was so surprised when I tapped into this podcast episode, the tutorial, because in the tutorial, it taught how you have a being list and a doing list. And in that being list, it was things that we usually put on the back burner, like your relationship, your health, your environment, your community, things like that. Versus your doing list as an online business could be things like marketing, sales, admin, all that jazz. And it felt so good to look at life from a holistic lens that I didn't realize that to be successful as a business meant to also factor in the other aspects of your life. And that's what's going to help you go for the long run and keep going for the marathon of entrepreneurship or even just life, right? Like when we get burnt out, why is that? It's because we're not able to nurture the other aspects of our life that are equally important, like our relationships, our friendships, our self care, our health, right? And this weekend, after doing that mini tutorial, I didn't feel guilty or stressed that I'm focusing on cleaning my house or, meal prepping or reading the Bhagavad Gita, right? Like I felt good about nurturing these aspects of my life because I realized to be able to show up 100% to my business and to my work, I have to maintain the other aspects of my life. And that's exactly what I have been able to do. The fact that I showed up to my weekend in this way, my Monday is phenomenal. I feel so ready to face the day. Lunch was meal prep, is already meal prep. So after recording this podcast, I have dinner ready to go with my husband, and I don't have to worry about what we're eating. I don't have to worry about our nutrition and if we're eating healthy because I already took care of it in advance over the weekend, right? So I think there's a line. What is it? Prepare to plan or plan to fail. Something like that. Fail to plan, plan to fail. That's what it is. Fail to plan, plan to fail. So it really helps to plan out life in a way that you want to design it so that you experience feeling fulfilled, taken care of, nourished, all that jazz, right? And it's so important to step into that version of yourself instead of negating or dismissing the important aspects of your life because it's going to make a big difference. right? And slowing down, like my therapist said, doesn't mean stopping. I told her that I'm in a season where I am slowing down. And she was like, that's great. I do like that you're slowing down. That's good for you. But I don't want you to stop. And that really hit home because slowing down can sometimes feel like, oh, let me just not do anything. I'll just relax and take it easy. But along with that, what are you doing to nurture yourself so that after your season of slowing down, when you do get back to life and amp up your efforts, you're able to do it with presence, mindfulness, focus, energy, all those good things, right? So I'm really seeing the benefits of slowing down right now. And I didn't know how long I would be off of Instagram and TikTok, which Instagram especially was a very big chunk of my day. Like I would be on there for hours a day and I'm not even embarrassed to say it. Like it's the truth. I would be scrolling because I would be consuming other coaches' content. I would be seeing what's happening in the self-development industry, the wellness industry. I would also really enjoy consuming Bollywood. Like I love my Bollywood actors and actresses, songs, movies, all that jazz. So it was a really fun, happy place for me. But to detach myself from that addiction, which I definitely think it was an addiction for me, it has been so helpful to be able to live life outside of that little bubble and see what's true for me in the real world. And I'm also reigniting my relationship with a higher power. I have been a little resistant, I'll be honest, towards even, considering praying to God, even saying the word God. I have challenges. I don't fully know if I have a relationship with God. So for me, saying universe feels a lot better. And as I'm slowing down in the season, it's been really nice to explore my relationship with the universe. If you haven't heard of her, her name is Gabby Bernstein. She is a great resource when it comes to learning more about your relationship with the universe and how you can co create with it so that you can manifest the life of your dreams. And it's been really powerful for me to tap back into Gabby's work that I have been involved with since like my 20s. Like I've been following her work for years now. And along with that, my mom, was like, Karishma, like, I know you're really struggling with your health challenges, but consider what would happen if you consider praying. So I've started with apprehension, but I'm doing it. And I also, tapped into my intuition, and my intuition guided me to a book that I got from my yoga certification days. And it's called The Living Gita. And it's pretty much the Bhagavad Gita, but in more modern text. So it's easier to read and understand. And I've made it a ritual for myself to read the Living Gita every night before I go to bed, just so I can learn something spiritual that I can apply to my life and integrate it. So these are some ways that I am slowing down, being off of social media, making a being list, and a doing list so that I can have a more holistic experience in my life and how I design my life overall. Tapping into the Living Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, universe, all that jazz. So I feel like I should say take a shot of chai every time I say all that jazz because I'm hearing myself and I feel like I keep saying all that jazz. But yeah, I really wanted to just connect with you and share the importance of slowing down. If you kept up with me throughout this episode, I know I jumped around a good amount. I didn't really have any notes or bullet points, but I want to just talk from the heart and just share with you how pivotal it can be to slow down and not feel like you're missing out on life or life is going to, escape you or you're going to be left behind, right? Like one of my fears was, oh my goodness, if I don't post content on social media as an online business, I won't be able to bring in clients. And right now, I have a good amount of clients. I'm very happy with the client base that I have, and my days are pretty full, you know? But I'm worried about continuing that momentum and bringing in more clients. But I really am honing in on the fact that my audience isn't going anywhere. When I go back to it, they will be there and more new people will come. And the beautiful thing is, my energy is going to be even better because when I do go back to it in 3 months, I will have a much better idea with my health stuff. I will be a lot better by then, hopefully, fingers crossed. And I will be able to actually serve my community, right? So the biggest thing is pouring into your own cup first before you pour into others' cups. So really consider for yourself where you're at when it comes to nurturing yourself and filling your own cup, because that's the number one thing, right? When you can take care of yourself, then you can take care of others. And as loving people, we want to take care of our loved ones, may it be husband, wife, kids, friends, all of them, even working well with our boss and colleagues, and just being a contributing member of society. But if you want to be a contributing member of society, you have to take care of yourself first so that you can show up the way you envision for yourself and the way you desire. So I really hope this episode maybe, you know, lights a bulb within you and makes you wonder or consider, what would life look like if I consider slowing down in this season of life? And how would I reinvent myself so that when I come back to the next season of life, I feel like I have really become the version of myself that I want to be, right? That's something powerful that nobody can take away from you. And I really believe having like mini sabbaticals of your own version are very helpful, because instead of waiting for, retirement to be able to slow down, what if you break up that retirement into mini sabbaticals throughout your life and you really take the space to slow down so that you don't get burnt out, right? So that's all I want to share with you for today. I really hope you enjoyed this week's episode. It feels so good to be back and recording again. I have so much I'm going to be sharing with you going forward. And if you want to, feel welcome to go over to YouTube and tune into this episode here. If you're on YouTube and watching this and you want to tap into audio versions of the podcast, go over to Apple or Spotify and tune in to Stay True to You with Karishma Minocha. And I really appreciate you for joining me along this self-healing journey. I can't wait to share more with you, and I will see you next week. Take care.